Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to a news cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Wiyi Agbofwewe. The Senate has passed for a second reading a bill seeking to allow all persons, including foreigners resident in Nigeria, the right to obtain and use National Identification Number (NIN). The bill also seeks to replace criminal penalties with administrative enforcement measures to encourage compliance with NIN usage requirements without imposing undue legal consequences on individuals. The bill, sponsored by the Deputy Senate President Barau Jibrin and titled National Identity Management Commission Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024. The House of Representatives has called on the federal government to investigate what it's called the exploitative and predatory pricing practices against Nigerian businesses by their foreign counterparts operating in the country. The mention moved by the member representing Ikorodu Federal Constituency, Lagos State, Benjamin Benson, noted that international business ethics and standards like the United Nations Global Compact, OECD guidelines for multinational enterprises, and ISO 26000 for social responsibility, among others, require businesses to operate in a fair, healthy, and efficient manner while ensuring competitive trade practices in the operation of their businesses at home and abroad. Individuals seeking to get admitted to the National Open University of Nigeria and other open distance learning centers are now mandated to register via the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB. An advisory released by the board states that such candidates are also expected to register with their unique National Identification Number (NIN). JAMB noted that the move is to checkmate nefarious activities. The board, however, promised to make the registration process as seamless as possible. The Transmission Company of Nigeria has suspended the planned power outage on the Osogbo, Akure, and Ado-Ekiti 132 kV lines. Head of Branding and Corporate Communications Department of Benin Electricity Distribution Company PLC, Evelyn Gbewen, noted that the outage was earlier scheduled for 2 months, stating that the suspension is still further notice. Niger State Governor Mohammed Bago has announced the offer of automatic employment to the National Youth Service Corps members who studied medicine and other health-related courses to address shortage of doctors and other medical workers in the state hospitals. Governor Bago made this known during the swearing-in of 1,600 Youth Corps members posted to the state for the 2024 Batch B Stream 1 at the Permanent Orientation Camp in Paiko, the headquarters of Paikoro local government area of the state. Vice President Kashif Shettima has visited victims of the suicide bombs in Borno State, where a suspected female suicide bomber detonated explosives in Goza local government area of the state. A curfew has been imposed on Goza over suspicion of another attack. During his visit to the Borno Specialist Hospital, VP Shettima conveyed the sympathy of President Bola Tinubu for the people and state governments. He also said the death toll has risen to 32. Let's turn to other stories for you now. DSTV Multi-Choice has allocated channel 365 to Global Television Abuja on its platform. In a letter to the Managing Director, Dr. Ibrahim Biu, and signed by DSTV Multi-Choice Head of Third-Party Channel, Tunde Onakoya, the organization says the channel is allocated after due consideration of technical and content capability of the television station. It says subscribers of DSTV will now be able to watch Global Television on all multi-choice platforms, which will be launched later this month. Congratulations to Global Television. A Delhi, India-bound passenger, Freeman Charles Ogbonna, who was arrested by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency 3 months ago after vomiting and excreting 80 wraps of cocaine at the screening point of Terminal 2 of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, has been sentenced to 25 years imprisonment by a federal high court. Ogbonna was arrested on March 31 while attempting to board his flight to Delhi, India via Doha with a Liberian international passport bearing the name Carl Bismarck. He was taken for body scan, which tested positive for ingestion of illicit drugs. The National Agency for Feed, Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) has sealed about 100 shops in Ogbete Main Market, Enugu State, for alleged dealing in suspected fake alcoholic beverages. The agency also confiscated a truckload of adulterated products as well as arrested 4 traders. Speaking after the raid and arrest, NAFDAC's Director, Southeast Zone, Martins Iluyobade, said the suspects were already in custody and would be charged to court after ongoing investigation is completed. Kogi State government has confirmed 2 cases of cholera in the state. The 2 cases were detected in Lokoja, the state capital, and Omala local government area. The confirmation was contained in a statement issued by the Public Relations Officer of the State Ministry of Health, Dorothy Onoja. Consequently, the state government has constituted a cholera response team that would investigate reported cases, collect samples, and administer appropriate treatment. The House of Representatives has called on the federal government to quickly put in place measures to check the spread of cholera across the country. Resolution of the House followed the adoption of a motion of public urgent importance moved by the House Minority Leader, Kingsley Chinda, titled Urgent and to check outbreak of cholera in Lagos and other parts of the country. Following the adoption of the motion during plenary presided over by the Deputy Speaker, Benjamin Kanu, the Legislative Chamber urged the federal and respective state governments to urgently put in place measures to effectively check the outbreak of cholera across the country. Operatives of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Iledla Border Command in Sokoto, have arrested a 25-year-old Rukaya Hassan who attempted to traffic 2 underage girls across the border to Niger Republic. The command's Public Relations Officer, Mohammed Abdullahi, said this in a statement in Abuja. Abdullahi had been handed over to the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons for further investigation. You're watching News Cycle coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We'll start times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using that Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Cycle returns, federal government exempts small businesses, farmers, manufacturers from withholding taxes. We will bring you details of that story behind this break. We urge you to stay with us.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okere tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point. This is business.
Are you
This is Global Television bringing you a live broadcast of News Cycle with Uyag Mofwebe. Thank you for staying with us. And now to the foreign scene where Kenya police fired tear gas to scatter small crowds in the capital of Nairobi after a youth activist called for fresh protests following deadly violence during anti-tax hike demonstrations last month. Activists have stepped up their campaign against President William Ruto despite his announcement last week that he would not sign into law a controversial finance bill that triggered what he has branded treasonous protest. The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights said that 39 people had been killed and 361 injured during weeks of demonstration and condemned the use of force against protesters as excessive and disproportionate. President Joe Biden has warned that the U.S. Supreme Court's landmark ruling on presidential immunity sets a dangerous precedent that Donald Trump would exploit if elected in November. The conservative-dominated High Court ruled that Trump and all presidents enjoy absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts taken while in office, but can still face criminal penalties for unofficial acts. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden's administration has proposed new regulations aimed at safeguarding laborers exposed to extreme heat as climate change continues to exacerbate heat waves across the United States. The proposed rule targets a wide range of workers, including mall carriers, delivery personnel, construction workers, landscapers, and restaurant staff who face high heat indexes regularly. According to government estimates, the regulation would impact approximately 35 million workers, both indoors and outdoors, who are exposed to a heat index of 80 degrees Fahrenheit, equivalent of 26 degrees Celsius, or even higher. Palestinians have been fleeing districts to the east of Gaza's second city of Khan Yunis after Israel issued evacuation orders. Overnight and into the morning, witnesses reported multiple Israeli strikes in and around Khan Yunis. A medical source and the Palestinian Red Crescent said 8 people had been killed and more than 30 wounded. Patients and medical staff have also been leaving the European Gaza hospital in the area as the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza told them to evacuate. Flood hit Indian state of Assam is on high alert as it braces for more rains in the coming days. The northeastern state has been inundated by flood waters for several days, affecting more than 600,000 people and killing at least 34. Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has said that the next few days could be critical as India's weather department has predicted more rainfall in some districts. At least one person has died after Hurricane Beryl made landfall in several countries in the Caribbean. Thousands of people remain without power or living in temporary shelters in St. Vincent and Grenadines, Grenada, and St. Lucia. The hurricane was upgraded to a Category 5 and is moving westwards Jamaica. It is expected to hit southeast Mexico by the end of the week. The federal government has approved the exemption of small businesses, manufacturers, and farmers from paying withholding tax as a way of reducing the tax burden on businesses. It also introduced key changes to the previous tax regime, such as reduction of rates for businesses with low margins and measures to curb evasion. The chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, in a post on his official X handle, announced that President Bola Tinubu has approved the new withholding tax regime for the country, with the official gazette expected to be signed in the coming days. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has conducted raids on 3 steel manufacturing companies in Ogun State due to the alleged production of substandard iron rods and other anti-competition practices. According to the Commission, the affected companies are African Foundries Limited in Ogijo, Monarch Steel Mill Limited in Shagamu, and Calm Steel Integrated Company, also in Shagamu. Acting Vice Chairman of the Commission, Dr. Adamu Abdullahi, stated that the Commission's visit was based on intelligence suggesting potential anti-competitive behavior by these companies. The Nigeria Climate Innovation Center, a global network of the World Bank's Community Innovation Centers and a member of the Climate Bus Innovation Network, has said that the proposed 10% green tax on single-use plastics in Nigeria would affect production and consumption through increased pricing to consumers and households. In a statement, the center explained that green taxation is a policy tool used by governments to promote sustainable behavior by imposing taxes and fees on activities that pollute and degrade the environment. In sports, Italian reports say Premier League giants Arsenal are preparing to make an offer for Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen after Napoli had reduced their asking price. The Gunners, who finished as runners-up in the 2023-2024 Premier League season, are now ready to negotiate with the former Serie A champions. Jude Bellingham is set to be investigated for a potential violation of the basic rules of decent conduct and faces a possible ban after he made a seemingly crude gesture following his dramatic equalizer against Slovakia on Sunday night. Union of European Football Associations, UEFA, has launched a disciplinary probe and claims the England star directed his gesture towards the Slovakia bench. Gleski Train. Cristiano Ronaldo has so often been Portugal's savior that potentially became the villain brought him to tears. The 39-year-old superstar was shown crying after missing a 105th minute penalty in the Selecao's Euro 2024 last 16 victory over Slovenia. Despite multiple attempts at goal and then Jan Oblak saving his pot kick, Ronaldo could not pierce Slovakia's a sturdy defensive wall, and eventually the match finished goalless across 120 minutes. Chelsea have secured the signing of 18-year-old Marc Guéhi from Barcelona. The Blues triggered the striker's €5 million release clause, and he has now signed a 5-year contract with the option of a year. And still in England, Manchester United have launched their new home kits ahead of the 2024-2025 Premier League season. The Red Devils are looking to bounce back from their worst ever Premier League finish last season as they enter their first full campaign under the leadership of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And that's it on News Cycle, and it came to you here from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, on Global Television. Remember, we are on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using the Global TV NG and other handles as you now see on your screen. I'm Muyi Agumofwewe, saying a big thank you to you for watching. Coming up shortly is Big Talk. Have a great time.